What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? This is Reemeen, and welcome to another episode of the Sucky Side, a new series that I started up because for whatever reason, there's people in this world that like to hear me bitch. So if you haven't seen the first episode, make sure you check it out. It's called the Sucky Side of Game Hunting. It's only natural that we follow it up with the Sucky Side of Game Collecting. The things that suck to me as a game collector that I endure all the time. Now there's going to be things on this list that I'm sure you don't agree with, or there may be things that you feel that I've left out. If that's the case, let me know in the comments below. People, these videos are purely for fun. Of course, I am super grateful for everything that I got. This is just a chance for me to get some stuff off of my shoulders and maybe put them onto yours. So guys, I want you to sit back and relax. Let's start bitching. I like to think that there's a little gnome that comes into my game room when I'm not here, goes up to all my wireless controllers and desyncs the shit out of them, because when I go to use them for whatever reason, a lot of times I gotta resync these sons of bitches, and it pisses me off to no extent. It is unreal how many times I gotta resync a controller, whether it's my universal remote for my TV or my Wiimotes or 360 or my other wireless controllers. For whatever reason, I gotta resync them. Maybe it's interference with other things, maybe it's the batteries dying. I like to think it's a little gnome going around pissing me off, and for whatever reason it happens a lot. Hopefully it happens to you people out there too, so I'm not the only one. Dead batteries and you are going to become new best friends. As you traverse through the years of game collecting, you're going to come across a mound of dead batteries that you've accumulated, and what's really worse is you're going to have them mixed in with your good batteries. In this game room, I got lots of items that use batteries, and it seems whenever I want to use them, that's when the batteries are dead and I can't ever find the good ones to make them work. So here's a sucky side of game collecting that you're going to deal with, and you're going to deal with it quite often, and that's dirty games. So let's say you come home with a big box of Nintendo games and you're going through it and you're starting to think to yourself after you go through a few of them like, how the fuck do games get like this? They may be covered in dirt or stickers, seminal fluid, years of caked on Doritos. It doesn't matter. You'll find games that are completely covered in the most nastiest of things. I've literally found games covered in cat shit. And I think to myself, how does this happen? How do people allow this to physically happen? Here's a good example. Check this game out. It's got stickers on both sides, had one on the front. It's got some nice coloration here on the back. The thing looks like it was sponsored from NASCAR with how many stickers this thing used to have. It's crazy. But for whatever reason, people love to put stickers on games and they love to drag them through God knows what. But it's going to be your job to clean them. I don't like to put dirty games back on my shelf. Sometimes stickers don't bother me, but if they're encrusted in God knows what, you best believe I'm going to take a hose to them. Dust gets on everything. Once you learn that dust is like 90% human skin cells, you start to think to yourself, holy fuck, half of my body literally is in this game room, encased it in like a tomb, man. It's crazy. Like, it is a constant battle to keep the dust down and to keep it look like somewhat not a crypt in here. And it's just going to happen. You're going to have dust everywhere. You're going to have little dust collectors all over the place, and then you're not even going to be able to find those dust collectors. It's going to piss you off. You're going to have to use like the nearest rag, and then once you're done with it, you're going to find your dust collector. That's a common scenario with me that happens all the damn time. Something to correlate with all that? Spiders, man. For whatever reason, spiders love all this old shit, and I don't blame them. If I was a spider, I'd love to hang out in like some decrepit box of Monopoly for the Nintendo NES, but for whatever reason, spiders love game rooms. At least they love mine. I gotta deal with them little eight-legged bastards all the time. If you don't like cleaning, I highly suggest do not get into game collecting, because you will have to be cleaning constantly, whether it's the cartridges like we talked about earlier or cleaning your game room. For me, I have to clean this game room every day. I have such a small game room that the least amount of clutter, the better. That way the walls don't feel like they're falling in on me, or all the weekend pickups that I gotta go through and clean up. That's going to happen. It's inevitable. You're going to be cleaning up dust, to chasing off gnomes, to cleaning cartridges. Prepare yourself to get dirty, people, because you will be cleaning a lot. Just when you think you've cleaned up your game room and it looks nice and pretty, you're going to find 20 random Q-tips scattered all around the game room. At least for me, and I know what the reason is when I'm ready to play a game and it doesn't crank up, you know, of course I'm going to give it the quick swipe with the Q-tip and alcohol, the #1 cleaner with a video game. And you know what I'm going to do with that Q-tip? No, I'm not going to be a decent human being. No, I'm just going to chuck that shit and I'm going to let it piss me off later down the line. And it usually does right after I clean my game room and I find 30 random Q-tips hiding all over the place like little Easter eggs. A sucky side of game collecting that you're going to deal with, especially if you got a suck-ass memory like this guy, you are going to lose stuff and misplace items all the damn time. I will find things in this game room from 3 weeks ago to a month ago that I've lost that I will have no idea how they got in there, nor will I have any idea how I lost these items. If there's something that I want to play or something that I need, I'll come in here, I'll look for it, and it'll just be like an empty spot where this item used to be, and I won't even realize how it went missing or how it ended up where I found it, but it happens all the time. The only explanation that I can think of are the gnomes. So here's a sucky side of game collecting. For every awesome box of stuff you find out there in the wild, you're going to end up with 5 boxes of shitty stuff usually to accompany that. And you ain't going to know what to do with it all. For me, the best thing that I found to do is let it accumulate into this massive pile of just straight garbage. And it's usually just a bunch of sports games, or it's aftermarket controllers or peripherals for the Wii that you ain't going to know what to do with. And I usually auction it off, and I pray that someone takes that first bid. As long as they pay for shipping, I'll be happy if I make 10 bucks off that stuff. And it happens. When you go out game hunting, you're going to find this massive pile of stuff, and guaranteed there's going to be some shitty stuff with it. Usually a lot more of that than good stuff. And prepare to have heaps of it in your house. A sucky side of game collecting that a lot of people don't talk about, that's the addiction of it, people. If you got a collection like this, chances are the bug bit you, and it bit you hard. The way that it hurts me is it's got me buying the stupidest of games that I will never play, but I love collecting them. If I'm out in the wild and I come across a huge box of cheap, it's got to be cheap usually, shitty Wii games or shitty DS games, you best believe I'm coming home with Barbie's Adventures and changing a spark plug or Milk Ma Marsupial 2003. Now, it's not as bad to where I'm giving hand jobs in alleys for terrible games, but it is bad enough to where I shouldn't be paying for these games, but I love collecting them, people. That's one of the downsides of it. Every collector's a different. I'm sure there's collectors out there who say, I only buy games that I'm going to play. I guarantee you there's something on your shelf that you regret buying. So something that sucks about game collecting, especially as you're in the game room here, is stuff loves to randomly fall. And it doesn't always have to be random. It could be my own fault. I could be reaching for something, or at least I think it's my fault. I'll be reaching for something over here, and as I do, something over here decides to do a backflip. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. The way that you will have stuff stacked in your game room defies the laws of gravity. Now, I got cats, people. My cats love to come in here, and they love to swing their tits on in and put their nose on every fucking thing. And when they do, shit usually falls. When I get done in the end of the week and I got stacks of games that I go through, that seems to be their perfect time to come in here and say, hey, I'm about to fuck this game room up, and usually they do. One of the sucky sides of game collecting that a lot of people just don't understand, and it's kind of sad to me, is I don't have the time like I really want to play all these games. Of course I make time and I try to schedule some time where I can actually play a game that I want to play, but a lot of it really just boils down to, fuck, I don't have any time to really invest in a game. Another sucky side of game collecting, you're going to end up with a backlog of games that you need to play that's going to be so fucking big that you're going to forget there's games that you need to play. Games that were suggested to you, or games that you started and didn't finish. You ran off to some other game halfway through. I got games out the ass that I need to go through and play that I've told myself, oh God, I need to play this game, and for whatever reason I get distracted, or I go to something else, or I just don't have the time to play it. That's going to happen. As a game collector, prepare yourself for it. So something that correlates with that, now this is going to sound super weird after saying all that, is you're going to be in your game room and you may have 1,000 or 2,000, however many games you got, it doesn't matter, you can have 100 games, and you're going to think to yourself, fuck, I don't have anything to play. And it's going to be the weirdest thing. Even though you got a backlog the size of the Magna Carta, you got to be in a specific mood to play a game. When I come into this game room, I think of it like a story, you know, like I'm in an old Blockbuster. Some of y'all may even still remember what that was. And I'm in here shopping, and I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to play today? I could spend 30 minutes to an hour trying to decide what the hell I'm going to play. Next thing I know, the time that I've scheduled to play games is over, and I spent all my time just thinking about something that I wanted to play that I couldn't even find. Here's something that surely sucks. I go to press the power button on one of my random consoles and hey, it doesn't cut on. That means one of two things. A, that gnome's back, or B, something's unplugged in this massive clusterfuck of power that I got going on over here. So I gotta backtrack this cord, find it, look, and I'm telling you, the people, there is a mound. And now I'm not as lucky as some people. I don't have the biggest game room, so everything that I got, and I got mostly everything plugged up, and sometimes things get unplugged. It happens. I don't have everything labeled like I should. I just don't have that big of a space. So when something gets unplugged, oh my God, is it a pain in the ass to try to find where that plug is unplugged and fix it. So the biggest gripe that I have with game collecting, the one thing that just gets to me so hard, and that's finding where to put something that I get every week. It is an absolute struggle. When I get my pickups over here and they pile up, and it's almost scary how big they get sometimes. If I have a really good week, I got to think to myself at the end of it, holy fuck, where am I going to put all that stuff? If you have not seen one of my game room tours, you know that I have an insanely small game room. But for whatever reason, my wife calls it like the TARDIS. I can put stuff in here and it just disappears. It molds into the walls. I don't know how it happens, but that is the hardest part of game collecting to me. And that is finding where to put something. If I'm out in the wild and I'm hunting and I pick up a nice big box and I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck am I going to fit this in my game room? Luckily, for whatever reason, I've always been able to do it. Now, keep in mind, some things are slowly moving out of the game room. Like the newer stuff is always moving out. Like last thing that went out, I think, was the DS stuff. So it's getting older and older in here. But that's the hardest part to me, is finding where to put stuff. And it's a sucky side of it, but guaranteed, if you got a small room like I do, it's going to happen to you. You are going to constantly be organizing stuff and reorganizing and moving things just to make everything fit. Here recently, I moved all of my Sega Saturn and Sega CD stuff off of my PlayStation 2 rack, put it up here. That was like a 3-hour ordeal, people. That you will find yourself going to extreme lengths just to make everything fit, and that terribly sucks. Alright people, that's it. I can't bitch, rant, or whine no more. That's all I got to say. If there's anything you feel I've missed, let me know in the comments below. Y'all's feedback on my last video was so supportive. That's why I got to start this new series up. So hopefully you guys like it. Let me know what y'all think. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Fuck. Damn, my voice is hoarse. Holy shit. Oh, fucking thumbtack. God fucking. Oh, you fucking gnomes.